How Steven Seagal thought that he could be the writer behind the smash hit of 1990 movie Marked for Death.
With over 90% of what was a rewrite by me.
How the regular guy messed up with the producer and the action hero while shooting the movie.
He bought it and I could see his jaw drop.
Crazy. And how the legend of Dirty Pants was born.
Nah, we already talked about that in the last video.
Marked for Death was made back in 1990, and it got crowned as the toughest movie of that year thanks to a couple of broken arms.
Plus it got the best fighting scenes the action heroes ever pulled off. Not only do fans think so, even Sensei Seagal claims it.
So you wanna say no matter how many Steven Seagal's movies we watch, in the end all we'll see is pushing dummies running at the Sensei with the outstretched arms? That's how it's going to be.
You just don't like Aikido.
I mean, if you see it as its own martial arts, it's kinda crappy.
I'm very familiar with fighting.
Please, I can push people too, you know. And when you're as massive as a cupboard, it's seriously no big deal.
Sequence, each move that he does, some of them are just so quick and so subtle.
Yeah, before Steven gives his fool a surprise kick, he makes funny faces, winds up, and honestly, calling it fast is a bit of a stretch. Now that's Van Damme for you. Look how fast he can make a currency exchange.
Steven, tell this disbeliever Alex how awesome you are.
I'm very familiar with fighting. Very familiar with firearms.
Doesn't sound all that convincing.
I'm very familiar with firearms.
That's better, but still not enough to make me forget his weapon handling skills.
I'm gonna say this again, I'm number one, right?
You're number one. We can switch them, that's what happened.
Okay, yeah, at this point it's hard to argue.
Marked for Death hit theaters in the same year with Hard to Kill, and together they snagged the 22nd and the 23rd spots on the list of top earners of 1990. They scored 45 million each with just a 12 million budget.
I think Steven was really glad they didn't pick him for the lead role of Predator 2. The sequel to the legendary movie about Iron Arnie and some space weirdness flopped hard.
You want some ganja, man?
And guess what? The Aikido master couldn't stop ringing the director Stephen Hopkins and bragging about his achievements.
Can I use your phone for a minute?
Look, this asshole is calling me again. I ain't gonna pick it up this time.
He was just a bit disappointed they didn't choose him for the follow-up.
I'm disappointed in you. How could you do that?
Seagal was going to have a meeting with him at his house, which was one of the craziest afternoons I've had, sort of to talk about doing it. Slightly twisted kind of guy. And in the end, I couldn't see myself doing it with him.
Why is that? What went wrong?
I went up to his house, he crushed my hand, and he took me into a room where all the walls were covered with guns. He wanted to play a CIA psychiatrist who's also a martial arts expert and carried a gun. And
hey Donnie, think about it. The Predator goes head to head with Sensei Seagal.
He doesn't stand a chance.
One push and the monster flies all the way back to his planet.
I said, oh, this is different the way we were going, so I guess we shouldn't do it. Then he became really keen to do it, and he threw his arm around me on the way out, and he said, you know, I want you to come to my ranch and
I have a secret dojo up where I bought my new ranch.
Because I've got a grenade launching range there, so we could go and launch grenades together.
Saying no to Steven was a pretty smart move.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near to Sensei when he's flipping a grenade launcher from one shoulder to another, or shooting blindly with his eyes shut.
I mean, it was smart to say no to teaming up with Seagal for the movie.
Oh yeah, sure. Otherwise, the Predator would have been pushed around by a guy in a pajama with a cute tiger. The thing is, when it came to shooting Marked for Death, Steven walks in dressed like that and straight up says no to changing into something more fitting for his character.
Do you mean the fluffy blanket?
I mean whatever the director insisted on.
What's that supposed to mean?
But Steven was all about making sure those dragon pajamas were a must in the contract. Just before that, he picked it up from a souvenir shop with the super friendly salesman from the Costa del Sol, where he had a fantastic vacation.
Alex, what's the big deal? He wasn't filming with a souvenir magnet on his forehead, you know.
The sensei said if he hadn't had that shirt, he'd end up looking lost instead of looking mad. But later, he actually got mad when he lost. a labor dispute about a movie script's copyright.
Hey Alex, he pretty much rewrote 93% of the junk the original writers gave him.
With over 90% of what was a rewrite by me.
Only kept the title, да?
Well, the title got changed. The movie was called Screwface.
So, Steven, what did you change then?
And there's a wonderful scene in the confession, you know, with a priest that I wrote where I'm talking to the priest and I say, you know...
Oh yeah, that epic scene where he is bragging to the Holy Father.
I've lied, I've slept with informants, I've taken drugs, I've falsified evidence.
Yeah, it's a cool action scene, but definitely not 93% for sure. Maybe there was something else.
And a tremendous amount of what these people have all seen was completely and absolutely written by me. They'll never know that.
This is a solid fact, backed by knowledgeable people, right?
Well, the director and I and the producer and...
Steven Seagal is the producer, and the director is this guy named Dwight H. Little.
And just so you know, Steven Seagal himself got him on the film because he was a fan of his work in Halloween 4.
Is it really that exceptional of the film?
Nope.
Well, sounds solid either way, but I'm not seeing the great name in the opening credits as a writer.
I will not get credit on it because of the way the Writers Guild is.
Those bastards!
I don't believe that they like actors who think they're writers or directors who think they're writers or producers who think they're writers.
You suck! You are no talent! If you really had talent, go practice!
Dang those actor phobes.
It's not cool to question someone's self-identity. Steven Seagal has the right to consider himself a person of any nationality.
I'm a little bit Asian. And I'm a Russian Mongol, and I'm Russian. Yeah, I have some Italian on my mother's side.
And a professional in any profession he chooses at any moment in his time.
But still the original script was different from the final result. Screwface and the entire Jamaican gang were way more brutal and seriously dangerous.
Now that's something they could have kept. In the movie all they do is draw doodles and try to spook us with bulldozers. And Screwface doesn't stand a chance against the main hero in the final battle.
Yeah, Steven changed that too. Originally the final battle meant to be in front of the whole gang, and Screwface was close to beating the Aikido master.
Well, it's obvious they couldn't leave it like that. The most they could get the sensei to agree to was having Screwface push him a couple of times.
And in that scene where they capture the Aikido master's sister...
In the original there was another niece of Seagal's, by the way. He had two of them.
Yeah, the Jamaican voodoo shamans left her life as a warning message to the main hero. And in the movie, three big tough thugs are basically flying around by the awesome Aikido moves of this petite girl. And then they run for dear life the moment Seagal waddles to the house. How can you take this scaredy pants seriously after that?
Another cool and necessary idea from the action hero was to add some new places. Originally the whole movie goes down in the same city.
So there was no that epic running throughout the Mexican village at the beginning.
In the beginning Seagal's close friend gets killed in the United States.
So they don't go to Jamaica to have a blast in the nightclub?
Actually Steven Seagal didn't feel like going to Jamaica, so you wouldn't spot him wandering around with the two sidekicks. All his scenes were shot in States, but he was totally into Jamaican culture, you know.
To the point he kicked out all the black American actors trying out for the role of Charlie, the undercover Jamaican cop.
And he was kicking all the American actors, black actors, out of their audition because he said their accents were fake.
So when Tom Wright, a Jersey native, went to try for the role, he straight up started talking to Steven Seagal with a heavy Jamaican accent.
Then I said, Steven, you know, I have a really big problem with the way that black American actors portray Jamaicans. You know, in America, black people were given their freedom paternally by the white man. In Jamaica, we take it, man.
I'm a Jamaican cop, man, and Screwface is my career.
Jeez, Alex, his accent is worse than yours. I can barely catch what he's saying.
And Steven Seagal also didn't quite get him. He totally fell for the trick.
The way I look at it, we need each other.
Not totally, eh? He clarified with Tom if he was born in Jamaica.
So I was born in Jamaica, but I moved to Brooklyn when I was 4, man. I can speak like Ras Clot American, but not choose it because I identify with my roots, man.
Tom pretended to be the real Jamaican throughout the entire shoot, and Seagal didn't suspect a thing.
You know, we'd be in the craft service line getting food, and he'd say, "So, brother, when we get to Jamaica, we're gonna go visit your grandfather?" And I'm thinking, man, what this? My grandfather died in 1977. Oh no, man, no rascality afoot.
It was only at the last day of filming when the actor finally had the guts to drop the act.
I said, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm from Jersey. He squinted his eyes, he turned on his heels, he walked away, and he never spoke to me again.
Yo,
all around.
Break my heart, man.
You got it. You got it. That's called great.